Well, hello everybody and welcome to my show. My name is Jason DaCosta and this is Consistent Preterism. Happy Friday to you all. I just wanted to talk about a couple quick things today, but before I do that, I wanted to make a little bit of an announcement. I don't know how reliable it'll be just yet, but I did get an email. Oh, by the way, before I talk about that, if you've sent me an email over the last couple of weeks and I have not gotten back to you yet, I apologize. I am aware of it, and I will respond. I promise you I will respond. I'm just maxed out right now, so it's been a crazy week. I don't know if I had mentioned to you guys, but I am, obviously I've mentioned that I'm doing the project. I'm GCing a home project, but my plumber backed out, so he had some issues. And the job, I think, was a little too big for him to handle, and he got kind of intimidated. That's just my opinion. I mean, why else would you back out of a massive pile of money? So he kind of just said he couldn't do it. And so I had to go out and scramble and get a new plumber. And so, anyways, that all worked out. I found my guy. Guy's awesome. He's already there working, cranking it out. He's already made way more progress than the other guy did in 6 weeks. So that's a good thing, but that's been going on along with the foundation being done this week. And so I've just been there and, we're drilling through concrete and there's just a lot going on. So I haven't really been able to respond to any emails or whatever, but I will reply. I know that there was one guy who asked if I could call him because he wanted to talk and he was excited about IO and everything. And, the calling thing, I usually try to stay away from the calling thing unless it's like totally necessary. I mean, let's put it this way. I'm not a phone guy. I'm a texter. Okay, I'm a texter. Even my parents will tell you. I love my parents to death, but they know that I don't pick up the phone and call. If I pick up the phone and call, it's for a specific purpose or a reason or something that needs to be discussed that's important. But normally it's a text because that's how I am. I'm a thumb boy. I thumb it out. So don't be offended if I don't call or if I tell you that I prefer to just communicate via email. It's just the way that I am. I'm not, if I'm like that with my own family, then I'm, don't be offended is basically all I'm trying to say. So, but I will reply, I will email, and I have no issue emailing back and forth. I actually like it because email, you can kind of put your thoughts together concisely and arrange them, and you can really, I don't know, through text to me, you can really word things properly. But anyway, so I will reply. In one of those emails, though, I got an email from a guy who said that he's IO. Never heard of him before, didn't recognize the name, but he's going to be releasing an IO book, he said, and hopefully it'll come out maybe this fall or later on in the year. I'm not sure, but he said it's going to be titled something along the lines of Redemption, A Tale of the Israelites, A Family Affair, or something along those lines. I can't recall what it really was, but something along those lines. And he's excited about it, and he said he's going to release a book. So look for that. I will certainly plug it once it comes out. And I don't know the guy from Adam, right? But he seems to be an IOer. He titled his email, a fellow IOer. And so I'm sure that, he's been listening and everything. So I have confidence that he's going to put some valuable information in that book. And if you're a IOer and you have the desire to want to write a book, I say go for it. I mean, heck, everybody always tells me, you got to write a book before somebody steals your view and takes credit for it and everything. And it's really not about that, man. I mean, it's, it's just not about that, I suppose if I was poor and had no money and had this opportunity to write a book and maybe make a little money, it would be a lot more attractive to me, but I just don't have the desire or the urge to do it right now. That's not saying I won't one day, I may, but anyways, rambling again. But this guy said he's going to do it, so I will keep you abreast of the situazione. And if and when I know it's going to come out, I will definitely let you know the name and the title and the author and all that good stuff. So anyways, on to the topic at hand. You know, people, when they argue against IO, they typically say that there's no passages that say that the Gentiles are the Israelites. No passages. And I always like to kind of back that up and say, well, first of all, you need to qualify the word Gentile a little bit better. Because you can't just say there's no word or there's no usage of the word Gentile for Israelites. The word Gentile means pagans. You can't just say that, right? Because that doesn't really work. Because the word Gentile doesn't always mean pagans. It mainly means nations, just the nations, right? Paul was an apostle to the nations. But what I mean by qualifying the term Gentiles is that there's elect Gentiles and there's non-elect Gentiles, okay? That's very important to understand. There's chosen, predestined, appointed to eternal life Gentiles, pardon me, and there's non-chosen, basic Gentiles, pagans, heathens. And this story says that the chosen Gentiles were the Israelites. So when you pick up on that and you settle that out in your mind, you can actually start to understand it better. It starts to make a little bit more sense, right? It's almost like this story is one of those stories that at the very end it wants you to go, holy shit, these Gentiles are actually the Israelites. You know, like it's one of those things. It's one of those, I always say the word, esoteric. It's a mysterious type of tale, right? That only certain ones would understand. And that's exactly what we see taking place as the gospel mission goes out. Only certain ones did understand. The ones that didn't understand didn't come because they were not his sheep and they wouldn't have the ears to hear, said Jesus. Now you might say, well, I have ears to hear. I believe in Jesus today, so I'm one of those elect. Well, no, that's not at all what's happening. What's happening with that is the same thing that happened with me and every other Joe Blow who came out of Christianity. We bought into the system. We bought into the system. And we did what anybody would do when it comes to religion, right? We adapted and inherited what was closest and what was easiest to us, what was most known, what was most comfortable. You know, the type of system that we grew up in. Maybe we grew up in it, our parents were part of it, we went away from it, and then we came back to it, whatever the case may be. But this system, Christianity, has been embedded into us one way or another, whether it just be, it's an American thing, or whether it just be your family's preferred religion, Catholicism, whatever the case may be. We are a byproduct of our upbringings and our culture. And so to say that you believe in Jesus is proof that Jesus is real is not, it just won't work. It won't cut it. Because Muslims believe in Allah and Muhammad and all this stuff, but we know that's all bullshit too. And the same can be said for many other religions. So belief in something doesn't mean it's true. It just means that you believe in it. So that's not an argument. But let's see, gosh, I go down these rabbit trails and I end up forgetting where the hell I was because I'm bobbing and weaving through traffic here in the morning. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to just talk briefly about that argument that there's no place that Gentiles are actually called Israelites, because there's plenty of places. You just have to know how to look for them, okay? You just have to know how to see them. You have to know how to pick it up in its context. And you have to know what it's saying in terms of what it's fulfilling and the trajectory and where you're at in the story in the New Testament. And so I always use Romans 9. Romans 9 is a jackhammer of a passage, okay? It just breaks up all the arguments, because in Romans 9, and no, this isn't about Romans 9. I know you're probably rolling your eyes like, oh man, he's on Romans 9 again? Shit. But no, this isn't about Romans 9. I just wanted to bring Romans 9 to people's attention again when Paul asks, is God having mercy upon the Gentiles? And then he continues right after that to quote 3 Old Testament passages all about the lost, scattered Israelites. So he's defining who the Gentiles are that God is having mercy upon. And he defines them by listing 3 passages that are all about scattered Israel, scattered, dispersed Israel. So that's an example of, That's a clear example of who these Gentiles are, right? That's Paul giving away the goose. He's telling you in a very dramatic type of way, by quoting passages about Israel, he's telling you who the Gentiles are. And it's no surprise, because this was always predicted anyway, that they were going to be, God was going to have mercy upon them from the nations, wherever they were. But there is a passage, and by the way, there's many passages. That's not the only one. If you want more, just go listen to the 5 million videos I have on my channel. And I pretty much, it's funny because I look at the Bible now and I'm like, when I look at it, I'm like, shit, what can I talk about? I've literally covered every friggin' topic, every topic. Now you might say, you haven't covered Noah and the angels or the Nephilim or whatever the hell you want to call it. But I don't get into that stuff. That's not my forte. I don't care. I don't need to speculate about myth, about stuff that you're never going to come to any conclusions upon because there's no information about it. I don't speculate on that. It's just not worth my time. But the framework of the story I've covered up, down, left, right. And it's to the point now where when I'm looking in the New Testament and I'm doing like kind of a quick read through a couple chapters just to kind of get my brain working to figure out what I can blab about on the next ride to work. I'm almost at the point where every single thing that I read, I'm like, I've already talked about that. So now it's kind of a case of I'm connecting dots with other things to help, solidify and further establish the case for IL. So, but anyways, so there is a very telling passage that I don't know if everybody realizes is there, but I know that some people do. What is this guy doing? Let me go around you. Sorry. It comes from John chapter 7, all right? And you all you IOers, all you veterans, you probably already know where I'm going to take this. So, John chapter 7, okay? A doozy of a text, all right? In John chapter 7, Jesus is roaming around like a homeless dude, okay? And he's talking to the religious Pharisees, all right? And it's John chapter 7, verse 32. I'm just looking here. I have the King James Version up, so just deal with it, I guess. But same thing, okay? The Pharisees, this is verse 32. The Pharisees heard that the people murmured such things concerning Jesus, and the Pharisees and the chief priests sent officers to take him. Then Jesus said unto them, Yet a little while am I with you, and then I go unto him that sent me. You shall seek me, and shall not find me, and where I am, you cannot come. Here it is, verse 35. Pay attention here. Open your good ear. Here it comes. Okay? You want proof. Here it is. Here's more proof, I should say. Verse 35. Then the Jews said amongst themselves, Where will he go, that we will not find him? Will he go to the dispersed among the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles? Okay, so what is that passage actually saying? Well, think about it, okay? The subject of that passage, or I should say, obviously we know the character. The main character is Jesus. But the subject of that passage is the dispersed ones among the Gentiles, okay? So there's clearly knowledge, because remember, these are Jews, okay? These are Jews. There's clearly knowledge from these Jews. These Jews clearly had knowledge and had the understanding that there were dispersed ones among the Gentiles. But notice what the Jews say, or how they say it. They say, does he intend to go to the dispersed among the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles? Now, how much sense does it make for him to say, or for them to be implying that, does he intend to go to the dispersed ones among the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles? In other words, and teach a totally different group than the dispersed ones. That doesn't make any sense, right? Because that's the only other way that you can take this. There's two ways you can take that passage. The first way, and the most logical, clear way, in my opinion, is that the Jews are calling the dispersed ones Gentiles. They very clearly say, does he intend to go to the dispersed among the Gentiles and teach them? Right? But the passage says, and teach the Gentiles. The illogical, silly way to interpret that passage would be this. Does he intend to go to the dispersed among the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles that are not the dispersed? Right? Think about that. There's only two ways you can understand the passage. Either the Jews are calling the dispersed ones Gentiles, which I am 100% certain they are, or the Jews are saying that Jesus is going to go to the dispersed ones who are among the Gentiles, and while he's there, he's going to teach the Gentiles who are not the dispersed ones. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. None. So what the Jews are saying in this passage, very clearly, is that, or what they're asking, is he going to go to the dispersed Israelites that are living amongst the Gentiles and teach them? That's what they wanted to know. Is he going to go teach these dispersed Israelites living among the nations? Is he going to teach them, these Gentiles? Right? That's exactly what he was saying. Now, I know that some of you haters out there who secretly watch me or who secretly listen to me, because you secretly know that what I secretly say is secretly true. I know that some of you haters out there will say, no, that's poppycock. What those Jews were actually implying is that Jesus was going to go to the dispersed ones among the nations and not teach the dispersed ones among the nations, but rather teach the nations, right? Because that, for whatever reason, that makes sense to these people. I don't get it. But what I want you to recognize here, okay, which proves that I'm correct, which proves that the Jews were literally calling the dispersed Israelites Gentiles in this passage, is that passage from Jesus in, I think it is, let's see if my memory serves me correctly. Gosh, my memory doesn't serve me correctly, but it's John or Matthew, I don't know. But you all know, okay? Where Jesus is talking to the Jews, and he says, I have sheep not of this fold. Right? They too will come. Well, here's the relation to that passage in John 7. In John 7, we see the Jews, and they're talking about a group living amongst the Gentiles. They call them Gentiles. Jesus, while speaking to the Jews and speaking about the Jewish fold in the Gospels, tells them that besides the Jewish fold, he also has sheep not of this fold, sheep outside of the fold. They too will come. He will seek them out. So there's the relation, okay? Now we also know we have the prophecy of Caiaphas, where Caiaphas prophesies that Christ not only died for the nation, but also he would gather together the sons of God scattered abroad. Again, showing that same relation of the Jews being the nation, the Jews being the sheep of this fold, and the dispersed ones among the Gentiles, aka the Gentiles, being the sheep not of this fold and being the sons of God scattered abroad. It fits perfectly. It fits absolutely perfectly. But what is very, very important to pick up on about this John 7 passage, all right, probably more so than anything, besides the fact that it's a clear indicator that Jews referred to Israelites as Jews referred to the scattered Israelites as Gentiles. That's number one. That's paramount. That's the number one thing you should take from this, is that there's a clear, no doubt about it, passage, without any doubt whatsoever, that the Jews referred to the Israelites living in the nations as Gentiles. Okay? And that's extremely important to take note of, because when we get into these other portions where Paul is writing to the Jews, and referring to a people called the Gentiles, or referring to their brethren called the Gentiles, or referring to other individuals who are being gathered in with them, referring to them as Gentile. Well, if we take our minds back to John 7, we can say to ourselves now that, wow, this makes perfect sense, because according to John 7, the Jews understood the dispersed Israelites to be Gentiles. Okay? They understood that. That's how they referred to them. Because remember, to a Jew, a Gentile was an unclean pagan. It was a filthy human being. It was someone who they couldn't associate with. And do you really think that a Jew, a high-minded, snobby Jew, would look at their Israelite scattered, lost brethren as anything other than Gentile? Of course they would. Of course they wouldn't, I should say. They wouldn't look at them as, fellow Israelites. They would look at them as being so far apart from the covenant promises of Israel, which Paul tells the Ephesians, by the way, in Ephesians 2. He says, you were separated from the commonwealth of Israel, but now Christ has brought you back. You were far off, but he has made you near by his blood. Right? These are all referrings to Israel being scattered. But the point is that a Jew wouldn't have referred to these lost Israelites as anything other than a Gentile, because to the Jew they were dirty, they were unclean, they were pagan, they were filthy, they weren't worthy of being in the covenant. And so when we understand it that way, and we can see how the enmity was literally over the law, again, Paul says that verbatim, the law is the enmity, the commandments contained within. Christ has nailed the laws of commandments and ordinances to the cross. He has abolished it in his flesh. Right? What about Colossians when he says that you're dead in the trespass of being uncircumcised? Okay? Well, a trespass is a violation of a law. And these ones were guilty because they were not circumcised. Right? But I could go on and on. The point here is John 7 is an absolute dagger to the heart of anyone who wants to say that Jews never referred to the lost Israelites as Gentiles. It's right there in black and white. Actually, I don't think it's in black and white. It's probably in red. Because when Jesus talks, we put it in red. Maybe it's not in red. I don't know. But point being, and hopefully point taken, is that it's all right there. And the Jews would have definitely understood Paul when he referred to individuals as Gentiles. And they would have understood that he was referring to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. That's all I got for you today, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. Give it a like, a Rooski. If not, take a hike, a Rooski. And we'll catch you on that flippity floppity. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.